The Nissan Armada is a much loved SUV all around the world, and now for 2025 they finally brought in a new one. Yes, after I think 10 or 12 years they finally have a new one. Welcome everybody then to the 2025 Nissan Armada Platinum Reserve. This is Nissan's most flagship SUV, the largest, most luxurious SUV, and yes, I have driven its even more luxurious sibling, the Infiniti QX80. Now, the Infiniti is a bit more expensive, so let's see if it's actually worth spending that 25,000 or you're better off saving the money and still enjoying this lovely SUV. When you come to the design of the all-new Armada, I think it's a very good-looking SUV. I think it looks very butch, very in your face, and I absolutely love that about this SUV. If you think BMW is making big grills, look at this grille. It's absolutely massive, and I love the imposing look the Armada has. You have cuts and creases, the bonnet as well, huge headlights, which also then couples into a turn indicator. So it has the DRL built in. You do have the headlight units built in as well, but this also turns into the indicator. So it's a huge indicator as well when you're turning. But overall, it just looks so good. I have to compliment the specs. So I love this paint shade as well. You can see the pearl finishes inside the sun. It looks extremely royal. It looks very, very premium. And I'm not a big fan of chrome, but I really love the chrome elements as well, because again, as I said, it makes it look that much more imposing. Overall, I love the way this SUV looks from the front. When you come to the side of the Armada is when you truly realize the size of this thing. This is a full-size SUV and it shows in the side profile. It's a bit boxy, but I like that, and I do think that brands are now going back to the boxy designs. The Armada was always boxy, so they didn't have to change too much. You have this beautiful diamond cut wheels as well, fixed side steps. It's not the retractable one that you can find in rivals like the GMC Yukon and stuff like that. Blacked out mirrors as well. You've got nice roof rails. You've got a little bit of chrome strip on the C-pillar as well, which mentions Armada. Overall, it's not the most fancy side profile. It's a bit boxy, but I really like it. I think it complements the front end really well. When you come to the rear of the Armada, after adoring the boxy side profile, you'll notice the rear is also just as boxy. There's an abrupt drop from the design from the roof, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I absolutely love the way this car looks from all angles, and everything is XL size on the Armada. So as the car is huge, you have huge Armada badging, huge Platinum Reserve badging, which is actually bigger than my palm. The Nissan logo is almost as big as my palm. You do have a connected LED strip as well, LED taillights, which looks really good. You do have some bottom part of the bumper which is blacked out, and that's for the tow hook, so it's an electronic adjustable tow hook. Everything else is body color, which I like a lot. Overall, I would say that even the rear looks very stylish, very up to date, and I think it's one of the better looking SUVs in its segment. You do have a spoiler as well, two shark fin antennas as well, and yeah, overall I would say that it's very practical, yet it looks very striking and stylish. You can get access to the boot by the electronic tailgate release. So if you press it and then it opens, and you get access to the boot. So even with all three rows up, it's actually not that bad. I think you can easily put in a weekend's family trip luggage, a few cabin luggages, or maybe even two proper check-in suitcases. You can electronically recline the third row and the second row. You can lower the car as well if you want to put in a heavy load. It's very practical. You do have some underfloor storage as well. As I said, it's a very rare combo of practicality, yet something that looks so striking and stylish. I'm now on the inside of the Armada, and I think this is the best interior Nissan makes, full stop. It's full of leather, excellent feel of leather, great stitching, some plastics, lots of gloss black as well, so that feels really nice. You do have some wood inserts as well, which then also uplifts the ambience. A lot of aluminium finishing, which also looks really, really good. What can I say? It just feels so nice, and it does remind you of its more luxurious sibling, the QX80. The only difference from the QX80 is that The center console on the QX80 is all touch screen. This is all physical buttons. And can I say something? I prefer this. On a day-to-day usability, this works much better. The touch screen, although it is a haptic one on the QX80, you really have to push your finger in. This feels much more at home and much more easy to use, especially when you're driving. You don't actually have to take your eyes off the road. So from a practicality point of view, this actually feels nicer. You do have a drive mode rotary control, some controls for the 4x4 system, so 4H, 4L, and you can put in auto. So I've been driving in 4 auto. You do have the traction control. You do have the gear shifter selectors on the center console, which I'm not a fan of. I do still like a conventional gear lever, but this is still fine. It is a nightmare when you do 3-point parking. A big wireless charger, 2 cup holders, which is also slidable, so you can cover it. You do have a center armrest as well, so you can store lots of stuff as well. The steering wheel is very nice. It's a 3-spoke steering, very thick, has paddle shifters as well. And the screens are also very nice. Wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, and the dials themselves are also very crisp, very clear. The dials have a clear readout. You do have a heads-up display as well. Overall, as I said, I really cannot fault it, and they've made the Armada so nice that it kind of makes the QX80 irrelevant, because the interior is almost 9/10 what the QX80 is there, but you do save a substantial amount of money. So honestly, this is the place to be. I absolutely have enjoyed my time driving this SUV. The seats are also very nice. I do find the under thigh support a bit lacking, but it does have massage, cooled, heated, everything, and the backrest is very nice and it's very cushiony. But yeah, it's been a really good experience over the whole week driving this SUV, and you do feel like you've paid big bucks for it. I'm now in the middle row of the Armada. The Armada is a 3-row, and this has the optional captain chairs option. I think it's a great option. It feels much more premium, and the seats themselves are also very nice. You do have an armrest as well, and you do have a armrest on the door as also, where you can rest your other hand. No blinds, which I think is a bit of a downer at this price point. Smaller SUVs, cheaper SUVs are also providing manual blinds, and this does not have even a manual one. I'm not expecting an automatic one, but a manual blind also should have been there. So that's a bit of an oversight from Nissan. The windows themselves are big. You do have grab handles as well to get in, even for the driver, which is a bit rare. Huge panoramic sunroof, so that lets in a lot of light as well. The seats themselves are comfortable, lacking a bit of under thigh support just like the front seats, but can't complain too much. The headrests are also very nice. You do have one single zone control in the rear, so it is a triple zone AC, fan speed, heated seats, everything. No massage seats in the back yet. You do have a wireless charging tray, 2 USB ports, cup holders as well. But yeah, it's got all the basic stuff. Legroom is actually really good. This driving position is for my driving height, and as you can see, I fit in really comfortably, and it's actually a really nice place to be, and I don't mind sitting in the middle row of the Armada for long journeys. For a change, I don't mind being chauffeur driven in this car. It's actually really nice, really airy, and it feels very premium. I'm now in the 3rd row of the Armada. As you can see, space is really not an issue. I have moved this middle row seat a bit forward, but the middle row passenger still has a lot of legroom, so it's not like they are cramped to accommodate a 3rd row passenger. I have a lot of space to tuck in my feet. Headroom isn't all that bad, and 3 people can just about fit, but I would restrict it to 2 adults only. There is a 3rd headrest as well, and the headrests are a bit too low, so I have had to move up the headrest so that it doesn't pierce my back. The windows are really big. You do have cup holders on each side for the rear passengers, and you also have Type-C ports. There are vents in the 2nd row and the 3rd row, but no AC controls for the 3rd row. So you will have to rely on the middle row for temperature control. There are no blinds in the middle row. I don't know how Nissan has done the feature distribution, but the 3rd row has an electric sliding reclining seat. So I love that. As you can see, I can play around with the seat, and that's a really cool feature to have. So kudos to Nissan for adding that to the 3rd row. But yeah, overall, I can see myself sitting here for longer journeys. It's actually not that bad. So kudos to Nissan for packaging the interior of the Armada so well. It's a proper 3-row SUV. I'm now behind the wheel of the 2025 Nissan Armada, so let's get the numbers out of the way. This has a 3-liter twin-turbo V6, produces about 400 odd horsepower, is full-time 4-wheel drive, has a torque converter gearbox, not a CVT, thank God for that. So let's see how this SUV drives. Put it into drive and set off, and you'll instantly notice that low end torque is really good on this SUV. You never really have to floor it in any capacity to get going, and I think that's very useful when you have a car of this weight. So this does weigh over 2.5 tons, which is obviously a standard weight for a full-size SUV. It does drive really nicely. It's very comfortable, but it does not shrink around you. At all times you are aware that you are driving a full-size SUV, and that might be a bit of a down point, because the whole point of these SUVs is that they should feel comfortable and they should shrink around you. Something like an X7 or an Escalade comfortably does that. So this always feels very big, in fact too big for something like a downtown narrow street, or even if you have to park it, it feels really big. Having said that, when you do park it, you do have all the assists. So you do have 360 camera, reverse camera, front camera, side cameras, everything, sensors all around. So it's very easy, and at all times you know where you are positioning the car. But yeah, it's really nice. It's got good punch and it sounds fairly good as well. So there are different drive modes. So I have been only driving in the normal mode. There is an eco mode as well. There is a sport mode, and then it drops a few gears. I can put it in manual mode as well, and I can play with the gears, drop it down a little with the paddles. If I floor it, yeah, it's a bit of a dumb-bitted gearbox, I'll be honest. But it pulls speed really well. Oof, it's actually really peppy, and especially on boost, it's very fast. I mean, this can do 0 to 100 in under 7 seconds. I think late 5s or early 6 is the time, which I think is sufficient for an SUV of this big size, and you know, just the whole presence on the road. The driving position is very nice. You have a very clear view of the hood as well. The steering is a bit heavy and it's not the most accurate, so you do have to make a lot of corrections to just keep the car on the road in the center of the lanes. It does have adaptive cruise control, the Nissan Pro Pilot Assist as they call it. So it does drive the car for you. It can change lanes for you automatically. So yeah, it's actually really comfortable. The gearbox is always in a gear 1 or 2 gears higher than it should be, but that's fine, because obviously this is not a sporty corner carving SUV. It's supposed to be laid back, cruising with your family, and that's something this SUV does really well. Fuel economy isn't the best, so even though this is a V6 and the older Armadas used to have a V8, the fuel economy won't make you miss the V8. So in the city, I've been averaging about 18.5 to 19 liters per 100, and on the highway, I think you can get 12.5 to 13 liters per 100, which is on the higher side, especially the city figures for a V6. But again, something that has to carry this kind of mass is somewhat justifiable. I'm not saying it's the best fuel economy, but it's a price you have to pay for driving something this big. But yeah, overall, what can I say? I have really enjoyed driving this SUV over the week. The way it's meant to, just cruising around in comfort and wafting around, this SUV does a really good job. In conclusion then, the 2025 Nissan Armada. Honestly, I've never driven any Armada ever in my life, so this was a first for me. Well, not really, because I have driven its more expensive sibling, the Infiniti QX80. And how does this compare to that? Well, it does 90 to 95% of the things that the QX80 does. It's almost got the same interior, very minor differences between a touchscreen and a physical HVAC control, but that's about it. I also think this looks much better, and it is cheaper. It is very much cheaper. So it's about $20,000 to $25,000 cheaper, which I think is a significant amount of money. And that's the problem with the Infiniti. This has become so good that it kind of makes the QX80 irrelevant. So if you are in the market to buy a big size Japanese SUV, I think you're better off saving that $20,000 to $25,000 and actually buying the Armada. So the Armada Aspect, this Platinum Reserve with a few options here and there, is roughly $108,000 before taxes, which I think is pretty value for money considering the SUVs this goes up against. Something like a Tahoe or a Yukon, I think they're about 10 to 15k more spec on spec. So as a value for money proposition, the Armada is really good, and it will do everything you ask of. It's extremely comfortable. It's got all the bells and whistles, and just look at it. I think this is one of the best looking SUVs on sale in the market today. And if I were in the market for a full size SUV, this might be the SUV that I actually end up buying.